everyone, again this is Lani Julie Sandra. So in this video we will answering the following question, and we were going to describe or define the 3 concentric circles and defining the 4 varieties of English. So first, let's answer the following question. So the first question is, what is linguistic universal? A linguistic universal is a statement that is true for all natural languages. For example, all languages have nouns and verbs. Another example is, all spoken languages have consonants and vowels. So that's linguistic universal is. So the second question will be, what is universal grammar? A universal grammar, or UG, is a theoretical concept proposed by Noam Chomsky that the human brain contains an innate mental grammar that helps human acquire language. For example, all children can acquire language naturally, or they acquire language that they are exposed to. It is an inborn capabilities of human to acquire language. So the next question is, what is a standard English? A standard English is a variety of English language that is used as a national norms in English-speaking countries. So in a simple way of definition, a standard English follow a specific rule or a proper way of speaking and writing when it comes to the pronunciation, spelling, grammar, and vocabulary. Should be precise, and it is the most accepted form. So for an example, when you write a legal documents or a business letter, and also when you are giving a formal speech, so we must use a standard English. So let's proceed to the next topic, which we were going to define the concentric circles. So Braj Kakruz is an Indian linguist and introduced the term World English in 1985. It refers to the variety of English spreading around the world and allocates the presence of English into 3 concentric circles, which are the inner circle, outer circle, and the expanding circle. So let's find out what the concentric circles are. So let's define the inner circle. The inner circle, it is where the English language originated. These areas using English language as their primary language or their mother tongue. They usually called as the native speakers. And as we can see, these countries are the USA, Canada, United Kingdom, New Zealand, and Australia. So let's proceed to the next topic, which is the outer circles. Outer circle, wherein the English language uses as their second language. So these countries are the Bangladesh, Kenya, Pakistan, South Africa, Zambia, Ghana, Malaysia, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Zimbabwe, India, Nigeria, Singapore, and Tanzania. These countries that I've mentioned, they use English in their education or in their business transaction and in their government, like for example, here in the Philippines, we already studying English since we were in elementary and using it as our second language. We use English language when we apply for a job and other transactions. And lastly is the expanding circle, which they doesn't really use English language as their secondary language, or should we say this region introduced English language as their foreign language. They just using it when there is a international transactions. So these countries are China, Indonesia, Korea, Taiwan, Israel, Nepal, Egypt, and Japan. On our next topic, we were going to define the 4 varieties of English, which are the American English, British English, Australian English, African American English, and lastly, the Philippine English. So the first variety of English is the American English. It has the most largest native speakers of English language. English, or the US English, is the set of varieties of English language native to the United States. You can distinguish an American English through their accent. For example, the O sounds, it is unrounded. And another example is the A sounds. So the next is the British English. It's the English language as spoken and written in the United Kingdom. You can distinguish if it is a British English when the R is not pronounced, as well as the dental plosive of the letter T, which are called derisive pronunciation. British English usually have different in spelling. For example, the color C-O-L-O-R. In British English, it's color C-O-L-O-U-R. And that's their difference. So let's proceed to the next variety of English, which is the Australian English, which it's non-rhotic dialect. The Australian accent is most similar to that of New Zealand and is also similar to the accent of southeast of Britain, particularly those of Cockney and received pronunciation. And also, it can be distinguished through their accent. The Australian accent is famous for its vowel sounds, absence of a strong R pronunciation, and the use of an inflection or intonation at the end of a sentence, which can make sentence sounds like question. So the next variety of English is the African American English. It's the variety of English natively spoken, particularly in urban communities, by most working and middle-class African Americans and some Black Canadians. It is also known as Black American English. It's the set of English socially spoken by most Black people in the United States and many in Canada. For example, the word ask could be pronounced as ox, or library pronounced as library. So let's talk about the last variety of English, which is the Philippine English. So the Philippine variety of English has evolved beyond the American standard, having developed distinctive features of pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, and discourse determined by the native language and culture of its Filipino speakers. The Philippines is one of the most significant and most interesting English-using societies in Asia, where there has been a general awareness and recognition of a localized variety of English characterized by its own distinct lexicon, accent, and variations in grammar. That's why some of people say that a Filipino has a good English speaking skills. In a Philippine English, usually we tend to pronounce a word every syllables, and it makes more pleasing and clearly to hear. So that's all for today's video. Thank you for watching.